you can see, the last module, as we can see, is research methods in environment and development research. Research methods in environment and development, actually. Okay? So, and we are supposed to have some icebreakers. Okay? I love icebreakers. I don't know why. I just love icebreakers because somehow it tends to, make one relax. It makes you like forget the price of petrol. It makes you forget that your rent is due and you are not yet ready to pay. Not that you are unable to pay, but you are not yet ready to pay. Okay? Now, so I would just do very good. Let's just have this one. Can you see the poll? Just one question and we'll go on. Just to test our knowledge, which research design do you think is most valuable for studying the long-term effects of climate change on agricultural livelihoods? Which research design is most suitable for studying the long-term effects of climate change on agricultural livelihoods? You're allowed to choose only one choice, okay?
Yes, but mental descriptive,
the effect of climate change on agricultural livelihoods. We have just 2 minutes for this poll. Let me silence my phone.
That can most of studying long effects of climate change on agricultural livelihoods. Experiment descriptive.
Somebody is thinking loud. Don't think loud, please. Because you might be disturbing other people. We have only 28 people who have answered. No, not impressive. Yes, 43%. That's just 57% of the class. Huh? Let me just give you a tip. You know, climate change is a slow onset. Let me not do exam malpractice. Yes, we have 1 minute more to go. One minute, 40 seconds. Forty seconds. Ten seconds. Only 61 people. The rest of you have given up. You don't want to try. Huh? Okay. All right. We're going to end our poll now. Counting down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We end the poll. So only 73 people responded, and I will share our results now so that we see the results. Okay? Can you see the question again says, which research design is most suitable for studying the long-term effects of climate change on agricultural livelihoods? You see, the words I'm stressing are the ones that give away the answer. Okay? Richard Ibua, you raised your hand. Yes, what do you want to tell us? Tell us, Richard. Richard, talk to us. Or is it Yoka? Is your
Yes,
raised hand an error? Talk to us.
Okay. Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
That's right. That's all right.
When I saw the poll results, my mind picked up because looking at experimental and longitudinal design, one will understand.
Longitudinal. Pronounce it well first, Richard. Longitudinal.
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 Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. If you're talking about longitudinal, it refers to a long time approach. It's a long time design, which involves collecting of data and analyzing of data for climate change. It can take up to decades. So when you're talking about experimental, it's just a slow interval. So those going for experiments should first know what it means and what it takes. So yes. That's just what I want to, the impression I want to.
So which one did you choose, Richard?
Ma?
Which one did you choose? Which one is your answer?
Longitudinal.
Longitudinal.
Yes,
okay. Yes, some participants have raised their hands as well. Adoga Terry Edache, you can tell us what you have in mind. Okay? Adoga, speak now. Yes.
Okay, ma. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, class. Fine, ma.
Yes.
I actually went for longitudinal, but yeah, I feel in my own judgment it should be mixed research design because ma.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my own judgment is a mixed research. It's supposed to be a mixed research design because a lot of variables need to be looked into. Case study is part of it. You have to study the trend because it's a long-term cumulative issue. Then a survey of the society. So you need to conduct a survey to get some interview with the people to also share their view. That is the society, the people who will be affected. So a lot of variables will be at play. So I feel it should be a mixed research design. But I went for longitudinal anyway. See, there's an option to go with. I just have to choose one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us. You and Richard, you have told me that my work is very easy in this module because these are some of the things we're going to be talking about in this, meeting today. Polls are not always, a test of what you have been, taught or what has been discussed. Polls can be a way of checking your entry behavior. What do you know about what we're going to talk about today? So thank you so much. Both of you have shown that my work is going to be really, really easy, and I'm grateful. Now, let's look at our results and go in. Experimental, 36 people, the highest number of people chose experimental. Okay? But you know, when you're talking of experimental research, that is not, it's usually not a long-term kind of thing, as in, when you're talking of effects of climate change, experiments will not help you there, because experiments are usually like short periods, you know, even if experiments take 1 year or 2, climate change is much, much longer than that, you know. Then descriptive research design. If you describe, you're not as much, you're not carrying out research as such, and case study is something that's already passed where you are studying. So, of course, you will see that as we go on, the answer is longitudinal, and only 29% of the class chose that. So this is good. It means that the rest of us who didn't choose longitudinal are going to learn a lot in this class. Thank you. So I have stopped sharing, and we are going to dig into our, you know, what we have today. Now, we all already know what research is all about. I'm not going to define research for us because this is not an undergraduate class. You know, it's a master's class. I agree. I believe that you know the origin of the word from French. Okay? But what you should come into this class with, the behavioral objectives, you know, not your entry behavior, the behavioral objective, what you should display, the behavior you should display at the end of the class is that you should be able to define what research means in our field. When I say our field, I'm talking of environmental sustainability, not your background where you're coming from, okay? Then you should be able to differentiate between various research methods, stating at least 3 points, like we just tried to do now in that poll. You should be able to differentiate between various research methods and state the pros and cons for at least 3 different research designs, okay? Then you should be able to list at least 3 differences between method and methodology. I bet the other poll question I had is about method and methodology. I bet many of us in this class, at the risk of sounding immodest, I bet many of us in this class might not know that there's a difference between method and methodology. By the end of this meeting, you would know the differences. Then we should be able to identify appropriate research designs for your own specific environmental studies. Because I believe now you have been thinking of the kind of research you want to do for your MSc thesis. Because you are supposed to have hit the ground running. You've been assigned supervisors, I believe, so that you should be discussing with your supervisors so that you don't wait till you finish the coursework. Exactly. You can be doing it together. Multitasking, you know, is something that is so beautiful, and one-track minds are not the kind of things that do well. They are not the kind of minds that do well in the 21st century. So you should be able to describe how to combine quantitative and qualitative research methods, and you should be able to enumerate and discuss 4 ethical issues that can arise in field-based environmental research. So let's try to introduce ourselves to environmental and development research. You know, it is Edward Deming who said, without research, you are just another person with an opinion. Let me give you 2 examples. Without data, you are just another person with an opinion. That's why if somebody wakes up and says, that the male species is more beautiful than the female species of every animal, and he doesn't give reasons, you say that's your own opinion. But if he gives data, if he says, look at the peacock and the peahen, the peacock, that's the male, is more beautiful. It's the one that has the flamboyant, beautiful, tail. That's the peacock. It's more beautiful than the peahen. Now look at the chicken, ordinary chickens in your house, in your backyard. The cock and the hen. Which one is more beautiful? The cock, with the cock with that turban on his head and beautiful feathers, but the female is just there. Then look at the lion. The lion is the male lion that has the mane, that beautiful tuft of hair and looks, the female is just like that. Okay? I could go on and on and on. Look at even the Agama lizard. It is the male that has beautiful colors. The female is just by the wayside. So now I've given you data. So if I tell you that the man is more handsome, more beautiful than the woman, I've given you data. You are likely to believe me because I've given you data. I've given you examples. I don't know if you catch the flow of what I'm saying. So research methods. We're going to look at research methods. And they are important for both academic research and development policy making in Nigeria. So Edward says, without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Data is critical. And how do you generate data? It's from research, okay? Environmental and developmental research. So that's the systematic structured process of discovering new knowledge, solving problems, and testing hypotheses. Every research, especially in our university, as you submit your research, the PG school will ask you, what's your contribution to knowledge? You must state that contribution. What contribution are you making to knowledge? Maybe somebody has carried out a research in Elisha, and you want to repeat the same kind of thing here in Makurdi. You can say that that's what you're adding to knowledge, or if it has not been done before, or maybe it's been done before, but this aspect of it has not been done. There must be new knowledge you are adding to science. Otherwise, your research it wouldn't make sense. Okay? So research also seeks to explain patterns, relationships and outcomes affecting both natural and human systems. For example, NESRIA, we use both quantitative air quality data and qualitative community interviews to guide policy decisions on industrial emissions. Is that okay? So research is the creation of new knowledge or the use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. It's not all the time that you have to create new knowledge, but sometimes you could use existing knowledge to create, generate new concepts, methodologies, and understandings. Okay? That basically is what research is all about. Now, what is research methodology? An overview of research methodology is just that is a framework of techniques for collecting and analyzing data, isn't it? It is the systematic approach and rationale behind the research study you are conducting. It tells you the how, and methodology will tell you the specific methods. Can you now see? I'm talking of methodology, and I'm saying that encapsulated in research methodology is the specific methods used for data collection. Okay? And in the methodology, you're going to be explaining why did you choose these specific methods. So we are taking this research methodology in this course because most of us, in fact, all of us in this class are new to environmental sustainability. So maybe the way you did, research before might be a little bit different from the way you're going to be doing it now. Like maybe people from, if you have an education background, okay, maybe you just did like surveys and, and all of that. There were no experiments, nothing. So this is a new terrain for many of us. And that's why we want to look at, the gamut of the possibilities that are available for you to choose from. So the overall strategy, theoretical foundations, and specific techniques, that makes up methodology. Now, there has to be there's a distinction between methodology and method. So methodology, like I just said, is the overarching strategy and rationale. But methods are the specific techniques and tools that you use within the strategy. I hope that makes sense. Okay? So I gave an example here that a researcher might choose a qualitative methodology. Then he will use interview method. Okay? So interview is a method under qualitative methodology to explore participants' experiences with maybe let us say AI, okay? So the methodology gives the framework, but the interview is a specific method that the researcher is going to use within that framework. So that means that the fundamental difference between method and methodology is in the scope and purpose. Okay? That's what it means. A method is a specific tool, okay, or technique or procedure used to collect data and analyze it. Huh? While a methodology is the whole thing, theoretical framework and justification, the why. Okay? So, confusing the two, why are we spending some time on these differences? Confusing the two can weaken your research. If you confuse method with methodology, it will make your research very weak. The method section describes what was done, but the methodology section justifies the credibility, validity, and reliability of the whole work. So a solid methodology will ensure that the research is not just a collection of tasks, but a structured, logical, inquiry. Yeah. So I've tried to tabulate the differences here, between method and methodology. The features are, the definition is different, focus is different, method is practical, how to collect or analyze it. The methodology is strategic. Why were these specific methods chosen? And then the scope. Method is narrower, methodology is broad. What are the application? You talk about data collection analysis later in the research, but the methodology, you discuss it, you talk about it in the initial stage of your research. Is that okay? So I've given some examples which we'll talk about in this meeting. Some more examples: strategic, theoretical, analytical, that's methodology. But method is action-oriented, practical, and tangible. So research methods are usually categorized into three main types, like Richard and who was it that spoke to us in the beginning? They were already talking. They know a lot about what we're talking about. Okay. Now, three main types: quantitative, which focuses on numerical data. I believe we all know this. And then qualitative focuses on people's perceptions, feelings, attitudes, social experiences, like that. Then mixed methods combines both types, and that enriches the analysis. Okay. Now, the quantitative method rely on numbers and measurable forms of data. Using these methods we've listed here: surveys, remote sensing, GIS, sampling of air, water, food, soil, everything. And then going to the lab. Laboratory work generates quantitative, data. Okay? Now, let's look at this example now. Quantitative, like this researcher measured criteria air pollutant levels. We, as environmental sustainability people, we should know that criteria air pollutants are those air pollutants that their concentrations, in the air, tell us about a lot about, the air quality. And if, the concentration of those pollutants increases above a certain level, then it means that the air is polluted. But if it is decreased or maintained, then it means that the air is not polluted. So let's look at this graph below. You can see the sulfur oxides, SOX. X means oxides. It can be SO2, SO3, okay? So the sulfur oxides are high there. And then, of course, the nitrogen oxides are there. And then the ozone, okay? Compared for dry season, wet season, and WHO values. You can see the WHO values are in ash color. And so in the wet season, you see the sulfur oxides are about the same concentration as in the dry season as well. So wet and dry season, they're about the same concentration, okay? But they are way higher than the WHO values. But look at ozone. Ozone, for this particular area that is being studied, dry season and wet season ozone concentrations are just the same level as WHO values. That means the air is not polluted when you look at ozone. So this is an example of quantitative research, measuring, concentration of some of these pollutants in air. So qualitative studies, on the other hand, reveal the why and how behind environmental problems. In-depth interviews, focus groups, you observe participants, you do document analysis, okay? For example, in Cross River State, researchers engage local farmers through focus groups. Focus group discussions means you just get a particular group of the community and then you interview them, okay? Discuss with them, and then you gather your data. Somebody is talking in our class, we are not happy with that, okay? So qualitative research methods involve observation, one-on-one interviews, focus group interviews, case study research, okay? Then there is, of course, grounded theory and ethnography. Mixed methods, that integrates both qualitative and quantitative. For example, if you have a flood risk study, risk of flood, combining rainfall data analysis with household interviews about how people cope when there's a flood, okay? So that's a mixed method. You measure the rainfall for this year, for example, and you get secondary data of the past years, okay? And then you carry out the analysis of this rainfall data. Then you still go ahead and talk to the people around the flood area. So the data that you're using is quantitative, isn't it? Then the interviews you're having with the people that live in that area is qualitative. So that method that you're employing is called a mixed method, okay? So these are the three methods that we have shown in this pie and Venn diagram. I will soon stop talking and then we would have our presentations. So this table is simply a comparison of the research processes, okay? And so let's look at key aspects of research methodology. Research design, you have to select the appropriate overall structure, whether you're going to use experiments or whether you're going to do descriptive or exploratory or correlational, where you're correlating this and that. Then you have to choose your data collection methods and then sampling techniques and how you analyze your data. Now, in environmental and development research, the right research design is critical. When you are doing exploratory research design, it means there are some poorly understood issues or there are emerging issues, where data is scarce and you want to generate ideas or identify patterns, okay? So that is exploratory. You want to explore to find out, why is this like this? Why hasn't this been done? That's exploratory, like the name tells us. I always say that students who fail science courses are students whose English is very poor in the first place. Because most of the time in science, we use English words to explain these things. So if you understand English and speak English, that's why for undergraduates, I don't speak vernacular with them at all, because they are still growing, they are still developing. No, you shouldn't speak vernacular in an education, because the more proficient you are in English, the better your understanding. Your textbooks are written in English, for crying out loud. Your exams will be set and written in English. So if you don't understand the question, how would you now begin to answer it? So, and I tell my students, right from when I was teaching in the secondary school, if there's a teacher that speaks vernacular to you, that teacher hates you, okay? When I was teaching in the College of Education, one of my younger brothers came to that college to do his NCE, and same mother, same father. We had the same parents. And of course, when we were on campus, we would speak English. He would not dare speak vernacular to me. When we go back home, in our parents' houses, we can now speak, the vernacular. And people were like, wow, this woman, now what for you? Your own is too much. You get. But I was helping him. I mean, you don't get exam written in your vernacular. Nobody will give you an award for knowing how to speak your language, unfortunately. There should be an award for it, but there is none. But if you speak English well and understand it well, it will help your life. So why would you waste our time speaking vernacular? My first daughter will say, who that one F, So descriptive research design is to describe environmental phenomena, conditions, or developmental trends. Okay? Experimental is to test hypotheses by manipulating variables. You change this, change temperature. If you heat it, what will happen? If you increase pressure, what will happen? Okay? Let's look at, there is this experiment we did when I was in primary school. And honestly speaking, I'll tell you about this experiment. Let's look at this one. When testing the effects of specific interventions under control or semi-controlled conditions through pilot projects. Now, longitudinal, like Richard was explaining to us, and you are all muted. I wanted to know the name of the second person who spoke to us, okay? To observe changes in environment. That's ADECA, yes? Yeah. So longitudinal is to observe changes in environmental or development variables over an extended period of time. So that's essential for sustainability, for climate, and for poverty studies. Do you get it now? So do you see why that poll came? So that we know that you now have new knowledge. That longitudinal research has to do with extended periods of time. So when you're talking of climate, poverty, you will not be expected to do longitudinal research for your MSc, except you want to become a student emeritus. You want to become student emeritus. No, we don't want that. We want you to do it, contribute to knowledge, contribute to science, do high-powered, high-level, research, groundbreaking research, okay? But do it within the period that is allotted for your studies, okay? Poverty studies, they take longitudinal. I was talking about the pronunciation, longitudinal, longitude, okay? So this table highlights the pros and cons of each type of research design, okay? Of all those four. So it reveals trends, long-term effects. It's time-consuming, it's very costly, and the risk of attrition is high. Attrition means you could just abandon it after some time, or some things will just drop off. So the risk is very high because you could just pursue other interests, okay? And the data generated can be complex to analyze, all right? So sampling techniques. Sampling determines which part of the population you study, okay? As the name implies. English is critical. If you don't understand English, you will have problems with science. It's not the old man in your village that is affecting you. It's the understanding of English. Incidentally, when I paid a visit to East African country, I was told, I like asking questions. And that's why I like people asking me questions. So I asked, I'm like, are you taught in English from, primary school? And they said, no. They showed me their books. The books are written in vernacular, in Kiswahili. So they learn Kiswahili at first, and then they begin to learn English towards the higher primary school classes. And so it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I know that in this class, there are proponents of that kind of thing in this, for Nigeria. But then we'll have to have, for maybe each geopolitical zone, different sets of books. I believe we'll get there if we put our minds to it, all right? So various tools are available for environmental research. Questionnaires, checklists. I don't like questionnaires because that is lazy man's research. We call that armchair And people can do armchair questionnaire. They just sit in their class, in their homes. They have done questionnaires, actually, developed it, tested it, okay? And then they just sit in their rooms and mark the questionnaires themselves, fill it themselves, which is unethical. If that's what you're planning to do, you better know that we will find you out. Eh? Then checklist, then Kobo Collect tool. There are some digital data collection tools. Then satellite imagery, if you're doing for land cover and deforestation analysis. One of my MSc students did, her work was on population of butterflies. You know, she was able to do it over a period of 3 months, and it made a lot of sense. There was contribution to knowledge. Data analysis techniques, quantitative data. There are software for analyzing quantitative data, okay? We are familiar with SPSS, Excel, and R, you know. The qualitative data, there are several software for categorization, visualization, and coding. It would be nice, we must say this before we leave this place, this data analysis. It would be nice that when you're doing your research, you collect your data. Maybe you will not be the one to analyze it, no problem. But please find out how the analyst is doing it so that you are able to follow and you'll be on top of it. You'll be talking to it when you're making your presentation. It's not just collect samples, dump the data, and then wait for the results and come and talk. No, you have to be in it. That's the difference between an A student and a D student. When you sit with the analyst and ask him to explain to you, somebody did research and so-called research, you know, and then came, and I'm like, okay, so how did you do this? How was the GCMS done? Bagam, what kind of instrument was used? Bagam, he said he just collected it and sent it to them in Port Harcourt. I said, you don't even know the... So, of course, he had to go back and go and study it. Come and be able to talk to me. You have to be able to talk to me. You don't get a master's that way. Can I tell us something? MSc means Master of Science in Environmental Science. It means you are mastering it. You are going to become a guru in it. To master a field is not easy. It's not beans. So you need to, that's why we're taking the time to do this. So research is not random guesswork. So there is a framework for it. Okay? And this framework is what I have tried to display here. You first of all identify a problem. How do you identify the problem? Not from my house. I do some literature search. Maybe there's an idea in my head. I go and search the literature, okay? And then identify the research gap. Okay, a lot of researchers are not in this area, but there's a gap. They didn't do this. So that's research gap. That's problem identification. Then you now come and talk about the methodology. What's the framework? How are you going to carry out this research, okay? Then under methodology, of course, we've said it, you choose the methods you use. And then having decided that, you now go and collect your data. So these things are divided into chapters, and different universities have different chapter titles for some of this. For example, data analysis is called results in some universities. And even in our university, when you're analyzing your data, you present it under results. Then when you have analyzed your data, you discuss the data. Some people call it interpretation, but in our university, we call it discussion and conclusion, okay? Then you now do your report writing, and we don't believe in keeping research on the desk or under your table in this university. We want you to disseminate it. We need you to publish it. Tell the world, I've done it. This is what I discovered. You know, if you have seen something, you say something. You know, the story of Archimedes. That noise is not good. Please mute yourself, please, if that noise is emanating from you. You know the story of Archimedes. Archimedes, there was a problem. it was easy to find. Oh my God, I don't like that noise. Please mute yourselves.
Isaiah Carter. It's from Isaiah Carter.
Thank you for identifying.
Yeah.
Please, Isaiah Kate, mute yourself. Taylor, you are still not muted. Kindly mute yourself, please. Thank you. So there was a problem. It was easy to find the volume of a liquid. Okay? You just pour it into a graduated. That was long, long ago, you know, in the 19th century, right? It was easy to find the volume of a liquid. You just get a graduated cylinder, graduated measuring container, pour the liquid in and read it off, isn't it? But the world was at a loss on how to get the volume of a solid. How do you measure the volume of a solid? How do you know volume is a space occupied by a solid, by something. So how do you measure it? And it was bothering physicists. It was bothering chemists. It was bothering scientists all over. At that time, science was not compartmentalized like now. You know, then there was versatility. A chemist would be solving physics problems. A physicist would be solving geography problems. A geographer would be solving biology problems, you know, like that. And it was beautiful. So the whole world was looking for how to find the volume of a solid. And Archimedes, you know, was going to have a bath. You know, to have a bath, you know, there's a bathtub. So he was running water into his bathtub to enter and take a bath. So he got busy doing something, he got distracted. And then the bath water filled the bath above the level that where he would usually stop filling. And so anyway, he got in and sat in his bath. And as he lowered himself into the bath, of course, the water overflew and poured out. Archimedes ran out and onto the streets and he was shouting, Eureka! Naked! He was shouting, Eureka! Eureka! I found it. That's the origin of the Eureka can. And that's why the Eureka can is used to measure the volume of solids. So there was a problem. And then it was solved. So the Eureka can, it has a place, you put the solid in, you put some liquid, take the reading, put the solid in, and then it overflows, the liquid overflows. You collect that overflowing liquid and measure the volume, and that's the volume of the solid, the water that was displaced. So, for example, if you look at this question, what factors affect solid waste segregation in Ibadan? There's a problem there. You have identified a problem. You want to find out. You want to get these factors that affect solid waste segregation. So you set up your research and go and begin to talk about how you do it. What's the methodology? What are you going to do about this? You know, and so you identify a problem and then you see it. Remember, we said that problems are usually identified when you do a literature review. So literature review means you are exploring existing research, identify gaps or unresolved issues. Try to avoid duplication of efforts, except where it's extremely necessary. Now, at this point, we must talk about AI in literature review. One of my children, we were talking and I'm like, I did this on AI, I did that on AI. And he was like, Mommy, you're using AI? That's wonderful. Some of your colleagues hate it and they fight students. I said, those colleagues, there's no head on their necks. What they know, the notes they are giving you, were they born with it? Did their mother give birth to them? Is it not people's work that they used in making the notes? So what is wrong with AI? The AI has come to stay. And I keep saying, it is not AI that will throw people out of jobs. You know? It is people who know how to use AI that will throw out people who do not know how to use AI. So I always advocate responsible and ethical use of AI in literature. I teach my 400 level students, that I supervise. I teach them how to use AI in literature review. And that's why I have put 2 YouTube links for you as a guide, step-by-step guide for you to know how to use AI in literature review. It's by a professor, Professor Davis Stockler, in a university in the UK. There are so many videos there, but his own video, these 2 videos, they are short. I think one is about 12 minutes, another one a little more than that. But it gives you how to know how to use AI responsibly. Not just do a copy and paste. You need to humanize. You need to own it. You need to add your own bit. Anyway, we're not talking about AI, but I want to tell you that in the 21st century, if you must do groundbreaking research, you would use, of course, I must say here that when you're using AI, you better know that AI tells lies. Okay? In fact, a professor I know from University of Ibadan she told us this story. Her PhD student came, and at the defense, she now saw her name with some other people in a publication. She said, Jesus, that she didn't do this work. Oh. She didn't do this work. She doesn't even know Mr. A, she doesn't know anybody in the names mentioned about her. Meanwhile, the student said he quoted it. How did you get it to Bobo PhD? He now said it was AI. He had to go back to rewrite. So AI tells lies. You must triangulate. You must double check the information from AI. Most of it is good. It makes sense. But AI tells lies. Is that okay? That's fine. So responsible use. Okay? That link can be shorter. I'll get a shorter version and send to you. What do you have to do with the length of the link? The length of the link doesn't matter. Just click it and watch the video. All right? Whether you are using a short link or a long link, just click it and watch. It is the video that matters. How you get there is not the issue. All right? Thank you. So, but if you send the short link, that's fine. But please go there and watch the video and get, familiar with the responsible use of AI. Is that okay? Then the second one talks about how to automate your literature review ethically using ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever, AI tool you want to use. Is that okay? So we will go ahead. After literature review, usually the 3rd chapter is research methodology. Okay? And we have said that when you are talking about research methodology, you are going to be mentioning the specific methods as well, okay? Flood vulnerability, community surveys, and GIS mapping. Even laboratory research, you use GIS mapping. We have a GIS lab at the center. We have environmental testing lab at the institute here. We have soil testing lab. So just to let you know, data collection and analysis, okay? Interpretation and conclusion. Then you write your report. As you are doing your research, from day one, you must have a book or some page on your device where you put every article, every material that you use. You must keep them, because a time will come when you see a fact and you're like, where did I get this from? And you might not remember where you got it from. Meanwhile, maybe your supervisor is insisting, I must see this, otherwise it's your opinion. So geographic information systems, that stores and analyzes. It usually connects data to a map, okay? It's used in various fields, and especially in environmental sustainability. That's why we have a GIS lab here, okay? So spatial analysis, spatial, something to do with space, okay? It's crucial for understanding and solving location-based problems. Like you're talking about floods, you're talking about mining. We need to know where you are talking about, the specific location. Is that okay? And that would, of course, and help to reveal patterns, relationships, and trends. Now, imagine trends in research. We've talked about AI. There is what we call citizen science. Citizen science means involving locals in data collection. Then the use of drones for environmental monitoring. Then participatory action. Citizen science is research conducted with participation from the general public, okay? Or when you have amateurs or non-professional researchers or participants, okay? Of social science and many other disciplines. That is now referred to as participatory science, okay? That citizen science is now participatory science, all right? Then participatory rural appraisal. I was trained in the use of participatory rural appraisal, I think in 2005 by DFID. That's a methodology that uses various tools and techniques to actively involve. That was in the era of HIV/AIDS, to involve local communities in the process of analyzing their situations. Okay? So you use the local community, the people, you engage them in activities, and these people engaging in these activities, they themselves will identify their problems and be able to develop solutions. It's a beautiful appraisal tool. So some common PRA tools are below: mapping, social mapping, resource mapping, participatory GIS, seasonal calendars, the oral tradition. Sometimes people remember, how income and health or food availability, happened over the years. Then transect works, okay? You just go with local residents. They will think you're strolling. And then you're gathering your data. You're strolling with them. Then Venn diagrams or chapati. Chapati is a kind of food in India, okay? That maps social relationships and power structures. Then there's matrix ranking. When you are analyzing the data, matrix and prioritizing. You do matrix ranking, wealth ranking, and all of that. So if you have been trained in PRA, please indicate in the chat box. I would like to know how many people have been trained in PRA, participatory rural appraisal, or who have used PRA at all. Some of these methods we are talking about that we've been listing: FGDs, focus group discussions, community meetings. You're just telling stories with them, storytelling, interviews, observation, telling stories with the villagers and gathering your data. So monitoring and evaluation, there is community surveys and participatory monitoring. So we have 5 new. BEM Asem has been trained in PRA. Thank you so much. That's interesting. We'd like you to talk about it when the time comes, okay? During our discussion session, we'd like you to tell us. BEM Asem, don't forget, please. Okay? So, you see, Dul Eric, you are speaking. Dul, that is not correct. It's not correct. You should not disturb our class, please. All right? So, I hope we are getting ready for our presentations, because we are ready, because we are rounding up this in a short while. Okay? So, when you are actually talking about your research, for masters, you are usually given 2 supervisors, okay? A major supervisor of your work, and then a co-supervisor. There's nothing like a minor supervisor. We don't do minor. So there is a supervisor and a co-supervisor. So then we have ethical issues in research. So you must be discussing your work with the major supervisor and the co-supervisor of the work too. So there are ethical issues in environmental research, and it is non-negotiable. There's what we call prior informed consent, PIC, and data privacy, especially when you're working with vulnerable populations. You don't just come and say, reveal the identity of the people that you collected the data from, okay? Because sometimes you could be endangering the lives of your informants. Then there are challenges in environmental research. The terrain is inaccessible. Sometimes the terrain is inaccessible. I know a young man who told us how his friend was going to get married, and he went to the to the girl's village for the first time. The girl was taking him to meet her parents in the village. The terrain was horrible. By the time they arrived, after 30, in fact, to save you the trauma, if you don't even travel along that road and you hear the story, you'll be traumatized. By the time they got there, they did everything they were supposed to do. When the man and the young lady returned to town, the man said, I'll not do again. I'm not marrying again. Your place is inaccessible. I mean, yes, we would like to hear your comments about that. So insecurity in some regions, funding shortages. I think funding is the highest problem with environmental research, and not any kind of research as you know, as a matter of fact. That's why there are scholarships out there. There is funding out there. So data availability and bureaucracy, a lot of bureaucratic bottlenecks. Let's say you go to a hospital, you want to collect data. You just want to maybe collect the waste too from their refuse dump. For where you have to see the CEO, the MD, Chief Medical Director. Anyway, if whatever has to be done, must be done. And at this point, of course, I want to say thank you for being there. Thank you for making my day again. So grateful that for your time. So we're going to have our presentations now. If there are any questions, any discussions on this, any questions before we close this chapter and go into the presentations? You can raise your hands if you have any questions or some serious thing you want to share with us, that if you don't share, we will get into trouble. If there's something like that, kindly, let us know. Yes, is anybody talking, or are we good to go? Okay, no hand is up. Thank you. Okay, one hand is up. Samuel Oglegu. Samuel Oglegu, your hand is up.
Okay, thank you, ma.
You have the floor. Yes.
Okay, ma, please, I just want to ask, when you talk about research, you talk about passion, what you have passion for, interest. But in most cases, you have something in mind, then your supervisor might not come with something different and can be insistent sometimes. So how does one overcome such challenge? Working on something that is not your original passion.
Okay.
But, so how do you overcome such a challenge and get a good work at the end of the day?
Okay. Thank you. Veshima, thanks for your kind words. Yande Winifred, thank you. Agba Ben Stephen, thanks for your kind words. I'm reading your chats. Yes. Now, you asked a beautiful question. It's unfortunate. And who is that who spoke just now? That is Agba, right? Now, you asked a wonderful question. But it's so unfortunate that, some of us, I believe that if a student of mine has passion for something, he will do it with such zeal and enthusiasm and enjoy it. And I too will enjoy the work. So the way I address my research students, even from 400 level, we have a kickoff meeting. And then you tell me, what's that area that you want to work on? What is it that has been bothering you? They say they don't have, will give us. I say, hey, you must come up with, there's something. You are not an empty table. There's something that you have that has tickled you sometime. And you're like, I wish I could find out a little more about this. And then before you know it, they open up. And then we are now able to knock up a topic around that area. But some would say, no, they don't have anything. Please give me, then I will give you a topic. I'll give you 3 topics, and then you work on. I tell you, it's your research, it's not mine. I don't force students to do my area of research. No way. My area is new. I am the first professor of agrochemistry in West Africa. West Africa, not just Nigeria. But I cannot force students to go into agrochemistry. You get the point? You would think that, oh, she's the only one. She wants everybody to do her agrochemistry work. That's not me. If you have passion for something, just like my dear brother, who I forgot his name, I didn't see his name well. If you have passion for something, then you do it very well. You put your heart in it. But if you are forced to do something, then you do it lackadaisically, just without any interest. And interest is critical in this matter. I've discovered, even with 400 level students, not to talk about masters. So we have tried, let me not say I don't like using the pronoun I. We have tried to talk to some of our colleagues that this is how to do it. We even had a postgraduate supervisors meeting in Lafia. We took them to Lafia and spoke with them, told them some of these things. So if you have a problem like that, if you still have an analog supervisor like that, you can, there is a way you can present something with so much love, not to, I have had this in all my mind, all over in my life. This is what I want to do. If I'm not doing it, then I'm changing supervisor. That's not it. Please, sir, I always say that 3 magic words, 3 magic phrases. Please. I'm sorry. Thank you. Then you can just tell, I've had this bothering me, and please, sir, maybe we could try to weave a topic around it, for it to be nice. You would have also done your homework. You would have gone to find out how it is. And then it will be possible, if possible, you can now weave it, tie it to the supervisor's area self. Do you get the point? Because let me be frank with you, researches that get sponsorship, external sponsorship, are researches that you tie to the MDGs. So if you go and do your research and you have not tied it to the MDG to, say, oh, this is going to solve SDG, is going to help in achievement of SDG 12. This research is going to help in achievement of SDG 3. Then the people that are checking shortlisting, they are likely to shortlist your own. But if you just do result, proposal, chakaram, not tying it to anything, they will just bin it for you. So these are some of the ways to go about it. Okay? Dialogue. All right? It helps. Okay, so we just go, thank you so much. We'll just go on now to our presentation. I will stop sharing. And group gold, we are starting with gold, isn't it? Thank you, Chile, Serumo, Mabel. Thank you for all your kind words. Mariam Mohammed. Thank you. So we'll go into our presentation now. Gold, are you ready? I'm stopping my sharing. Who is the presenter for gold? Who is the group leader? Group leader for gold. Let's have the group leader's name, the presenter and the secretary.
Group leader, raise up your hand so that you introduce yourself properly.
Gold.
Gold was complaining seriously that platinum is more expensive than gold in the market. So maybe you look for another name.
Or maybe we'll give them an alloy, an alloy of gold and some other expensive metal. So did they come up with some metal that they want to change? This class governor is a naughty class governor.
They have not said.
They have not. All right. So good. Who is the presenter, class leader?
Who is presenting for good? Please raise your hand.
Thank
up
you,
and,
Kufre F. Young. Fosha UK. What is Fosha UK? Kufre, tell us, what is Fosha UK?
Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon,
Okay,
Kufre. Dr.
fellow.
Kufre. How are you? Idemfo.
Yes, I'm fine. Give me a song.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, is a fellow Occupational Health and Safety Association UK.
Sorry?
It's fellow Occupational Safety and Health Association UK.
Ah, okay, fellow, yes. I'm not a fellow, but I took some certificate courses, occupational, safety and health. When I was in Durham, University in the UK, and then Newcastle University. I did my PhD in Durham, and then postdoc in Newcastle in the north. Okay, gold is up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please,
Okay.
who is the timekeeper? Who is the timekeeper? Will somebody volunteer to be the timekeeper, please?
Kachala Remini, are you the one presenting?
Remini Kachala. Remini Kachala, you are the timekeeper? Okay. Tefa Tachia, your hand is raised. What do you want to tell us?
I don't mind acting as the timekeeper, ma.
Okay.
Okay, so we have timekeeper 1, Remini Kachala, assistant deputy vice timekeeper.
I think Remini is presenting for the group.
Okay, so what was the agreement? Okay,
Remini, go on.
We said that you present for 10 minutes, isn't it? And then there will be interaction for 5 minutes.
5
right?
minutes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm grading. I'm not talking anymore. I'm muting myself. Okay, take over.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Prof. So I'm Rimini Kachala speaking for Goals Group. We have not yet decided on the name we want yet, but maybe we'll figure out something more expensive. Next slide, please. So our topic is around Kenya's Lake Turkana project, wind farm project. Next slide, please. Okay, so our question is problem or challenge addressed and factors that contributed using contextual drivers and key economic drivers that we looked at. We looked at the economic drivers, the problems, and the problems that we find are the expensive diesel generation, high electricity tariffs, energy shortages affecting economic growth. And how the project will solve this is by addition of about 310 megawatts of wind power to the grid, reduced reliance on costly thermal diesel plants, providing long-term fixed cost renewable energy, and stabilized electricity supply for industries and households. The overall outcome will be an improved energy security and reduced long-term generation costs, supporting national economic growth. Next slide, please. The environmental drivers that we consider the problem links to environmental drivers such as climate change and environmental concerns. And the problem that we identified are high carbon emissions from thermal generation, climate vulnerability, need to transition to renewable energy, environmental risk of fossil fuel expansion. And how this project can solve it is by reduced carbon emissions by replacing thermal generation, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, contribute to Kenya's renewable energy and climate commitments, and position Kenya as a regional leader in green energy. The overall outcome of this would strengthen Kenya's climate change mitigation efforts. With regards to the social drivers, the problems that we identified at Northern Kenya, Marsabit County was historically marginalized, poor infrastructure and limited economic opportunities, low access to electricity in rural regions. How the project attempted to solve this is by creating employment during construction, development of road and basic infrastructure, establish community development funds and social programs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Outcome of this would be improved infrastructure and provided employment. Please, if you're not speaking, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Next slide, please. With regards to political and governance drivers, the problems that we identified are national need to modernize the energy sector, reduce dependence on imported fuel, meet international energy and climate commitments. How the project addressed this is by public-private partnership models that attracted international investment, strengthened Kenya's renewable energy policy framework, demonstrated large-scale private sector participation in energy infrastructure. And the overall outcome is an enhancement of Kenya's energy governance capacity and investor confidence, despite early coordination challenges. Next slide, please. So factors that contributed to this success include strong and consistent wind resource, government support and policy framework, public-private partnership, and transmission infrastructure development. So for question 2, some key strategies adopted on how they were implemented, the extent to which they are achieved and intended. Development of large-scale renewable infrastructure. The primary intervention was the construction of a 310 megawatt wind power plant in Marsabit County, comprising of 365 wind turbines. The objective was to increase electricity generation capacity using renewable energy. Design and execution. Site selection was based on extensive wind resource assessments, confirming strong and consistent wind speeds. Modern turbine technology was deployed to maximize efficiency. Construction was executed through a private consortium with international technical expertise. Next slide, please. The effectiveness, this strategy was highly effective because the wind farm increased Kenya's installed capacity approximately by 15 to 17% at the time of commissioning. It significantly reduced power shortages, improved grid reliability. The project also strengthened Kenya's transition towards renewable energy dominance. Diversification of the energy mix, strategy and intervention. To reduce dependence on hydropower and thermal plants, Kenya expanded wind energy as part of its broader renewable energy policy. The design and execution, integration of wind power into the national grid, long-term energy planning under Kenya's Vision 2030 development blueprint, and coordination with Kenya Power to ensure grid absorption of generated electricity. Next slide, please. Effectiveness. The diversification strategy reduced vulnerability to drought-related power shortages. Wind energy now complements geothermal hydropower, making Kenya's energy mix more resilient. Public-private partnership and international financing. The strategy was the project was structured as a public-private partnership to mobilize capital and technical expertise. Design and execution. Secured funding from international development banks and private sectors, and private investors. Signed a long-term power purchase agreement guaranteeing electricity offtake. Risk-sharing mechanisms were built into financial agreements. Next slide, please. Thank you, Tacha. Effectiveness. The approach successfully attracted over 600 million euros in investment, demonstrating strong investor confidence. The PPA reduced financial uncertainty and ensured project viability. Development and transmission infrastructure, the strategy and intervention, construction of 428-kilometer high-voltage transmission line from Lake Turkana to Suswa substation to connect the wind farm to the national grid. Design, government-led infrastructure development through Kenya Electricity Commission Company, KETRACO. High-voltage transmission technology to handle large-scale power distribution. Effectiveness. The transmission line was ultimately successful in evacuating power to the national grid, and the infrastructure significantly enhanced national grid capacity and regional connectivity. Regional economic social interventions, strategy intervention. Promote local development and community engagement in Marsabit County. Design and execution. Employment opportunities for local residents during construction and operations. Improvement of local roads and social infrastructure. Corporate social responsibility initiatives, including community projects. Next slide, please. Effectiveness. The project improved infrastructure and created short-term and permanent jobs. Overall assessment of effectiveness. The interventions implemented under the Lake Turkana Wind Farm project were largely effective in achieving their primary objectives: increase national grid electricity generation capacity, reduce reliance in fossil fuels, improved energy security, promoted renewable energy leadership in Africa, stimulated infrastructure development in a remote region. Next slide, please. Importance of resource assessment and site location. Lesson. Thorough feasibility studies and natural resource assessments are critical for renewable energy projects. Before construction, extensive wind mapping confirmed that Lake Turkana had strong and consistent wind speeds. This reduced performance risks and ensured long-term viability. Transferable insights. Countries should invest in scientific resource assessments before committing to large-scale renewable projects. Poor site selection can lead to underperformance and financial losses. Next slide, please. Policy stability and government commitment are essential. Strong government support and a stable regulatory framework attract investments. The Kenyan government supported the project through renewable energy policies and long-term power purchase agreements, which reduced investor risk. Transferable insight. Okay. Transferable insight, clear policies, transparent regulations, and government guarantees are crucial in developing countries where private investors may perceive higher risk. Next slide, please. With regards to infrastructure must be planned simultaneously. With regards to the lesson, generation projects must be coordinated with transmission infrastructure. Although the wind farm was completed, delays in the transmission line prevented immediate evacuation of power, leading to financial inefficiencies. Transferable insights, future projects should synchronize generation and grid infrastructure development to avoid stranded assets and unnecessary financial burdens. Next, please. Public-private partnerships can mobilize large capital. Lessons. Large-scale SD initiatives often require blended financial models. The LTWF successfully combined private capital with international development finance institutions, spreading risk and securing over 600 million pounds.
Time up, please.
Okay. So the renewable energy supports climate development goals, and the renewable energy lessons learned here are the generation of the energy that met 7 of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 7, 8, 9, and 13. Broader insights integrates SD projects with addressing environmental, and social goals, and impactful single objective interventions. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Any questions, comments, or contributions from my teammates? If you have any submissions, thank you.
Okay. Yes, I can see that the flowers and
I have a
recommendation is from Group Gold members. I can see that.
If you have a question, raise your hand up.
Hello,
and you'll be given. Wait, if you have a question, raise your hand up and you'll be given permission to speak.
It's like you have mute my message. It's not working.
Muted your message. George Akanye, your hand is raised.
You missed my chat and participation, class rep. So I can't use that.
Good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, colleagues. I just want to make a contribution to the presentation. Thank you very much, Rimini, for the presentation.
Who is speaking? Is
It
it
is
George?
George,
Okay.
Prof.
Okay.
Yes. I want to make a contribution on the lessons learned and there should be community engagement and then partnership with the host community. When we look at the...
we can't hear you, George.
We did. The local communities.
I can't hear you, George. I'm hearing you now. So face where you are facing now.
In the course.
You better repeat what you said. I didn't hear you. Face where you are facing now. Your voice
Hello,
went.
Prof.
No, write it. We can't hear you. Write it, please, in the chat. I can't hear you. Or is anybody hearing him? All right. So, Ajoko Philemon. Ajoko Philemon, your hand is up.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I have a contribution on the future trends, the lessons learned, and then some other few inputs. First, I want to commend the presenter for a wonderful presentation. She did very well. But such project, for such a big project, we are very sure that certainly issues are going to come up. So, number one, they left out grievances resolving mechanism. If such issues come up, there must be a way to resolve them. And then number two, for future trends, there must be continuous capacity building. We know that surely they will bring out expatriates to handle the project. But once they are done building the project, for sure they will lead. And if there's no local capacity, people that knows how to handle some of the machines, people that have the skill, it will be difficult for the project to be maintained sustainably. So I think this point should be taken into consideration for others who wants to do a similar project. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Are you in Group Gold?
No, ma. I mean,
oh, good.
No.
That's fine. That's a great point anyway. So, Group Gold, note that. Yes, any other comments?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't put up your hand. Who is speaking?
My child head is not working.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. The presenter of Group 1, you did a very wonderful job. And it was quite an acceptable word. But I have some places where
acceptable. So you are the facilitator, you are the lecturer now.
No, I have a question. That's where I'm going to. In your EIA, you did not mention, you just say wind speed. And if you are considering the robust nature of such a project, if the threshold of the wind is not enough, setting that project in that particular location is useless because the wind speed that you have will be below the threshold and it will be unable to drive the wind turbines that will actually distribute or generate power. That is one observation I'm making there. Then the second one, you did not, in your strategy, in your strategies, you did not highlight which of the technology you are using so that we'll know if it is environmental friendly or not. We have, as in wind turbine, we know that we have the horizontal axis wind turbine or the vertical axis wind turbine. I don't know which of these you use. Then the third one is that you mentioned that you, considering the magnitude of that project, power was produced but not distributed. So what was actually the aim of the project if you generate power without distributing it to the target end? Thank you.
Okay, let me respond to your comments. So excuse me, Prof, I hope I can go. Yeah, point of no. Thank you very much
Go
for
ahead.
Thank you very much for recognizing the presenter. Thank you also for pointing out those things. Let me also just point out that I think when you're giving feedback, please also not focus only on what we didn't do, but what we did well. I think that would really go well to encourage spirits of sportsmanship in the team. Now, facing your questions, you said something about wind turbine energy and the threshold.
Sorry, Rimini, he praised you. He commended you. He
My
said it
speech,
was a
but not
wonderful.
but not our work, ma. So that
He
is for
did.
me.
He did. He said the presentation was good and acceptable. I even now started teasing that is he now the lecturer? He's accepting it.
Okay.
So please, he did. He commended you, please.
All right. Thank you for pointing
Yes.
that out, ma. All right. So the point with regards to the wind threshold, I don't think that wind threshold is a definitive term used in renewable energy to measure that is measurable. So you said wind speed, which we had highlighted and pointed out in the study that we did, where we factored it in to say that during the site selection, the wind speed was tested and confirmed to make sure that the site was viable for the project. With regards to the energy offtake that was not done, at the instance of commissioning, it was not done at the instance of commissioning, but was eventually factored in and resolved by the government because they did not have the initial PPA offtaker license or policy in place. And that is something that is, I think you can find even in the renewable energy space in Nigeria. I work in the renewable energy space. We generate energy in remote locations and there's no offtake. We have to distribute all of it in the rural regions, not because there's no transmission network, but because there are factors within the policies or existing laws for rural electrification and national electricity regulation that impede us from doing that. Ordinarily, we should be able to sell that and connect easily to the grid. As renewable energy people, they are very willing to even take up the cost of transmission network and included in their generation work. But the regulations prevent that from happening. And that's one of the difficulties you would find within the renewable and grid energy space in Africa. That the regulations, because they existed before and they have not yet been reviewed because of acts of parliament, you cannot just take energy, for instance, there's no power in Egbeda in Lagos, and you have the means of setting up a mini grid. You can't just go and site a mini grid in Egbeda because it is in a grid location. I don't know if that kind of answers your question, but that was the difficulty. But in the case of Kenya, the government quickly swung into action, identified that as a gap, and were able to fix it by a policy, which did not exist beforehand. So I hope that kind of answers some of it. I don't know if any of my other team members wants to address your questions. Thank you.
Okay. Remaining asked if any team member had something to add. Yes, I want to say that what you said, your response more than answered his questions, So that was great. Okay. That was great response. Yeah. Any other question? Well, the timekeeper told us
Yes, we have
that
okay, ma.
Yes, you have a question. Go ahead.
I want to I'm a part of the gold group. So in respect to the question that has been asked before, my presenter was able to look at it. I believe that somebody said it was not being finally utilized. Yeah, like to take a look at the project, it was conceived in 2005, but they completed it in 2017. The reason was that because they have to look at the speed of the wind, because they look at it because it took them time for them to even start building. And if you look after completion, they transmit it to the transmission line, which is the national grid, via a 428 transmission line, which is a very good that the people, even from the record now, we have been made as the largest in Africa when it comes to the Lake Taiwan wind power station. So it is very, very in use now. Just like my colleague has said, it does not take effect at time. They have to look at it, and we look at the kind of because the government has to partner with the private company so that there's going to be continuity. So even when there's a change in government, there's a continuity, and the kind of a policy they have agreement for 20 years to maintain it at a particular cost. So I think that is my contribution, ma. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We appreciate that contribution. Yes, the accurate timekeeper, thank you for keeping time. He says that the time is up, but if I think, but no more participants raising hands. So I just want to say, yes, that was a great presentation by Group Gold. Really great. I'm waiting for your new name, but for now, it's Gold I have written. So honestly, we can rebaptize you if the need arises. Is that okay? All right. So Rimini, and how many members do you have in your group? I need to know how many people. I'm waiting.
We're about 90. We're about 96, ma'am.
It's not about. I need a specific number. Is it 95.2 or 95.7? I want a specific number, please.
We have, like she said, we are 98.
98, good. You don't have just 98, not about, okay? So thank you so much. 98 for Group Gold, all right? And that means we need to see the names of the 98 people that's after this year. Thank you. We need to see the names of every person in, okay? In the slides. You can divide one slide into 3 or 2 and write the names down. Is that okay? Then, so wonderful. And then you answered the questions well. The questions, the points that you're supposed to address, the responses were great. And your slides were great. The font size, your use of color and font was wonderful, which was nice. So the PowerPoint slides were wonderful, okay? And it was quite interesting. That's for the content now. Great. So the scoring is, content is 4, presentation is 3, interaction is 3. That is making a total of 10. I can scale it up later. I just need us to know that is the scoring criterion. Now, presentation too, good. I want us to know, the whole class, I need you to know that part of the reason I need you to present is that presentation is something you are going to be continuing to do as master students. If you've never done it before, you must try your hands at it. Is that okay? So, because you're going to do seminars during your masters, you will do propositional seminar, okay? From propositional, you will do course seminar. Then you would also now do exit seminar, okay? You will do exit seminar. So you're going to have at least 4 seminars, and you will be making presentations. So you better learn how to present. So the overarching aim of what I am doing is to make you better at presentations. Is that okay? So, for example, you need to know that your slides must be numbered, so that if anybody wants to talk about slides, they can say slide number this, okay? Slide number that, okay? It was when Rimini, it was when you were answering questions that you showed a lot of, how do I say it now? Knowledgeability. You know a lot about this topic. It was only during the interaction session that I was able to get that. But during your presentation, you just read out, you were reading out the slides. There was no life in it. Do you get the point? Now you say you work in renewable energy area. You should have put a lot more life, because reading out slides is not the best way to present. So these are some of the things all of us need to learn. Is that okay? So put life, put zest,
yes, ma'am. Thank you,
into your presentation. Then there was no intro. I thought there should have been an intro about, oh yeah, renewable energy, like, and honestly, I was looking for the map of Lake Turkana. It's online there. You could have just put a map, okay? But like I said, we're trying to make our work better. Is that okay? So if you're making a presentation like this, for example, go put the map, get the map. Like you were talking about Marsabit County, because Lake Turkana is in Marsabit County. Where is the lake in the whole of Kenya? If you show that, then it will make your work richer, so that it's not just text. I don't know if you get the point, class. Do you get the point? It's not remaining I'm addressing you. I'm addressing the whole class. So so that your presentation is not just text. There has to be, if you had shown the map, for example, with GIS and all of that, it would even have brightened up your work. Because like, the question I want to ask is, where is Lake Turkana? When somebody was asking about wind, the strength of the wind and all, is it in the hinterland or in the coastal region? Your map would have shown it. Do you get the point? Your map will show that Lake Turkana is in the middle, towards the north of Kenya. And then the wind park is like at the bottom of the lake, towards the center of Kenya. Okay? Now, were you able to, Group Gold, were you able to lay your hands on the ESIA for this project? I need an answer to that.
Yes,
Group Gold.
Hello, Prof.
Yes, Group Gold.
Sorry, I wanted to comment then the network is kicking me out. Actually, the course rep shared a slide that had no pictures or maps in it. We had a particular slide that we forwarded to him.
Please, hold on. Are you responding to the points I'm making? You're not supposed to respond. I thought you wanted, I asked a question. Group Gold. Group Gold, did you lay your hand on the ESIA of the project, the Kenya's Lake Turkana Wind Power Station? Did you get the ESIA?
Yes, Prof. We saw something like that, but we did not read it.
Oh, wow. Please,
we saw it in the course of doing the research for the in the course of doing the assignment. We lay our hand, we saw it, but we did not read it.
Okay, please. Thank you, George. Yeah. Please, you go read it, okay? Because the ESIA would have told you a lot about this project. You remember this course is environmental sustainability. Huh? So you should read it, even if it's the summary of it. Is that okay? So this question is, you said there was reduced dependence on imported fuel. And the question that came to my mind is, what fuel was Kenya importing and from where? What fuel? Was it firewood? Was it, what kind of fuel? Was it coal? Was it petrol? And where were they importing from? These are some of the things that would have added zest to your presentation. Oh, before the Lake Turkana, Kenya was importing this fuel from this country at this amount of money and that amount of money. You get the point, all right? So, no answer for that. What fuel and from where? So these are the things. You need to own, you need to enter, you need to get initiated into your presentation. That's what brings life to it. I hope we get that now. All right. So please clap for them. Clap for Gold. Physical clap and electronic clap. Thank you so much. You've done very well. So please tidy up, number your slides, do the effect these things you've learned so that you now submit for the group. After putting the group names, please, members of the group. Thank you. Thank you, presenter. Thank you, timekeeper. Thank you, every member of Group Gold. Well done. All right. Can we have Group Platinum? Please. Group Platinum.
No, wait. No worry about anything. We don't give you.
All right. Good afternoon, Prof.
Just copy it down.
Yes. Good afternoon, Julius.
Yeah. Good afternoon, mate. My name is Julius Musa, and I will be representing Group Platinum on this presentation. And I indulge you all to listen, and God bless us all. The slide, please.
I like the balance of gender. Woo! Remaining female. Yes, the ladies have it. And then Julius, male. I just love this class. I love this class.
Group Platinum. Send me your slides again.
Anyway, And don't click on any of those things. Just click out. Just click out.
Plus, that speech is very big, but it's even beyond the 800.
Listening is good. Can you mute, please?
Okay, the presenter, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Good afternoon, all, once again. So I will be presenting on the topic Community Water Project with a case study of the Nigeria's Water Aid Initiative. Yes, next slide, please. Amongst the two vital earth natural resources of soil and air, you will all agree with me that water is the third of these vital natural resources. It is a resource with a global concern. That is, it's everybody's business, right, when it comes to water, because no life can exist on Earth or on the planet Earth without water. Therefore, the protection and effective utilization of the minute quantity of water, that is just less than 1%, becomes more effective or more prominent in this situation. Then in a nutshell, Water Aid Initiative are a set of robust policies and enforcement often carried out on a national or global scale to control the planning, the judicious use or exploitation of water resources and the promotion of the resources availability and functionality in right quality and quantity. So delving into this, we are going to look at the case study on water aid work in Nigeria, highlighting three basic things, which is the impact of this water aid initiative on public health, the impact on infrastructure, and then the systematic policy that is set aside to bring forth every protection or every measures of enforcement altogether. Then we are going to look at not wasting time in defining the sustainable development, which is put forward by Brundtland in 1987. We all know what it is, but given statistically, we know that Nigeria has a big population of about 230 million people. That's the statistic for 2024, and then nearly 35% of them live below the poverty line, which is very, very bad. Right, living below poverty line means the happiness index and also their standard of living is compromised. While desertification is affecting 43% of the land, which is true, we can see them especially in the northern axis with rising menace, as the case may be. Please, good. There are facts that show sustainable development matters in Nigeria, which we're going to be keen into. Next slide, please. Good. Next slide, please, class rep.
I'm on it.
Move from the introduction to the next slide. Yes, so we're going to look at some goals or aims of this project. Our goals are overarching on the outlines here, but not mutually exclusive, to reduce child mortality. In Nigeria, we all agree that child mortality has been a menace. Looking at the report put forth by the World Health Organization in 2014 about the rising concern for child mortality as a result of water-related diseases, they call it water-related killer, which is diarrhea, would understand that child mortality is alarming, and then water-related diseases such as diarrhea are the key or practical issue to tackle when it comes to this situation. And we're looking at expand service access, that is giving people the ability to access water resource in right quantity and in right quality, as I've earlier stated the definition of this initiative. That's the goal of the initiative is to make sure that water is available in right quantity and quality for the masses. Then to eliminate open defecation. Of course, we know open defecation is a problem in Nigeria. It is not to be sidelined. You see people going into bushes to go and release because they believe that the earth can assimilate anything they put aside. I was making contribution yesterday and I cited example in Prof's class, that's of one woman called Ellen Semple. In a theory, she postulated that the earth mothered man. When I talk about mother, that is being a mommy figure, right, to man. But then it provides man with everything, but then place a limit to the threat that man gives to the earth itself. That is, it signals every abnormality that man tends to.
Julius, you have only 10 minutes for your presentation. Go straight to the point, sir. You are over explaining the point.
She said we should add life. Trying to put life, okay? Hello, class rep. I'm trying to put life. Can you let me go through? You are taking my time.
But you have 10 minutes, sir. You are just on the second
Eliminate
slide.
open defecation, improve public health, right? Then we have foster community ownership, then empower marginalized groups, influence national policy, and ensure infrastructure sustainability. Next slide. Now, the three pillars of sustainability, we all are aware of them, which is the economic, the social, and the environmental pillars conglomerating together, using the Venn diagram, they would agree at a spot called the sustainability spot. If there is any harm to one of them, right, there will be alteration in either of them. So therefore, we must make sure these three coincides and then they come together. Like, for example, checking on the slide here, you see lack of water harbors health problems, just like I've been explaining in the situation of health, like diarrhea, right, health problems. Then we have reduced ability to work, right, can lead to low income earning. You see that is accrued to the social aspect of it, which also affects the economic. Because they are poor, you understand, they cannot afford, and then there is no income, there is no money, so it's economic. Let's talk about poverty. The root cause of everything, of this resource degradation, they said, is poverty, that the poverty is root cause. You could see it in the word environmental degradation, like, for example, deforestation for fuel. Like yesterday, we were saying that we don't provide the poor man, average poor Nigerian, with the means to curtail cutting forests, and then yet we are saying that they shouldn't cut forests, which is why Besiago scenario said that if a man without a job cuts down trees for firewood, causing deforestation and loss of soil nutrient, when then makes productivity to go down and keeps people poor. Of course, they are still beneath the poverty line, which is very, very hazardous. Go next. Next slide, please. Next slide, class rep. Good. Now, what is the central problems that is bedeviling the Nigerian environment when it comes to this water resource? We have child mortality, as I've earlier stated. You could see statistics of 70,000 to 100,000 children that are under 5 dying annually as a result of water-related diseases like diarrhea, as mentioned. Then we have the water sanitation hygiene crisis, given that 90% of diarrhea cases stem from unsafe water sanitation and hygiene. And you could see this is a problem in the Nigerian environment. What about the health impact? You could see that 1 in 4 children experience stunted growth. This is another problem of deficiency of water or water deterioration by human activities. What about inequality? Inequality speaks about rural and poor families that are most affected, right? Like, for example, having a company in a city that releases effluent into a local stream that flows down into the river, right, of a given community, that they don't have voice to voice it out, right? But then they are troubled with it. You see that effluent can kill them. It can cause them several diseases. It can cause them several sicknesses, but they cannot voice it out. So this inequality can be tackled in order to make sure that we have a balance or equilibrium, or talking about the sustainability of the resource called water. Next slide. Now we look at the contextual drivers. These drivers, you know, we're talking about environmental and what economic, right? The drivers to environmental and to economic, as we bring them forth here by the group, is infrastructure. Of course, we've been talking about infrastructure right from the beginning of these lectures with several teachers and with Prof. That decade of under investment, like 46% of rural water schemes are non-functional at any given time. You all agree with me. There are those there are projects that regard to water, but about 46% of them are not functional due to several problems. It could be social problems, right? Giving it a kind of social support, and when there is no social support, then there is no essence for doing these projects. Then environmental stress, of course, seasonal flooding, contaminate wells, climate change, and increased water scarcity. This could be anthropogenic, when you block your water system with plastics, you block them with all manners of pollutants, and then you expect not flooding to happen. Then of course flooding will take place. There is also natural factor, like a place where there is high rate of rainfall, you should expect a flooding scenario. So the two are coming in together to distort the environmental setting of the place. What about economic cost? Talk about poor sanitation costs. Nigeria over 3.1, that statistically 3.1% of its gross domestic product annually. We have 455 billion naira. That is the cost in what amount of healthcare and lost productivity, as put forth by the Water Aid of the Nigerian Developmental Agency. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, we look at the contextual drivers in terms of social and political. You know, when we talk about the social, we're talking about the human self, right? Open defecation, as I've mentioned, is practiced. Roughly 46 million people contaminating local water resources. It is a problem in Nigeria, right? They see it as, let me just go there and kneel down and poo. You understand? But then they forget the fact that the rain can
Mr. Julius, you are no longer in power. We can't hear you, sir.
That's why it's group work. Another member of the group should take over. It's team spirit, please. This is why it's a group presentation.
Better raise up your hand so that you take over from
Another
me.
person should just take over, please. Raise up your hand and take over. Maybe he has issues with network. He must have issues with internet.
Vera, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, my fellow colleagues. So he stopped at the contextual drivers, which is under the social and the political. So under the social behavior, open defecation is practiced by roughly 46 million people, contaminating local water sources. And then we have the political obstacles, which is lack of political will and fragmented governance between the government levels. And then recent progress, declaration of a state of emergency in states like Benue, Bauchi, and Plateau. Next slide, please. Strategies and intervention. Number one strategy, community-led total sanitation, that's the CLTS, empowering communities to build their own toilets through behavioral change. And then we have sustainable total sanitation, that is combining CLTS with the sale of sanitation products and hygiene education, e.g. hand washing. And then the third strategy, we have in technology and advocacy, solar-powered pumps and durable boreholes, clean family, happy family hygiene campaigns, training women as pump mechanics to ensure gender integration in water management. Next slide, please. We have the effectiveness of the initiative, health outcomes. Participating villages have seen a near total elimination of waterborne illnesses. We have mortality reduction. Improved WASH reduces post-newborn death risk by 38%. We have behavioral change. CLTS increased toilet ownership by 1/3 in the poorest areas. We have the policy success, helped establish the National WASH Action Plan and legislative frameworks in states like Bauchi and Enugu states. Next slide, please. Lessons learned for our future projects. Number 1, lessons learned, sustainability over subsidy. Community must own the solution. Free toilets often fail due to lack of maintenance. Fairness and justice, prioritizing vulnerable groups, that is women and girls who are the primary water collectors. We have data-driven advocacy, using specific mortality statistics, 60,000 plus deaths, moves officials to act. Then the maintenance gap, projects need a local business model, e.g. small user fees, to prevent infrastructure from becoming monuments of failure. Next slide, please. Then conclusion. The initiative successfully elevated WASH, water, sanitation, and hygiene, from a charity concern to a national political priority through data-driven advocacy. A major takeaway is that sustainability over subsidy works best when communities own and invest in their solutions, are more likely to maintain them long-term. The project highlights that infrastructure alone is insufficient. Without a local business model for repairs, systems eventually fail. Next, please. Then we have our references. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group Platinum. That is another great presentation. Let's clap for them as usual. And then interaction time. Thank you, timekeeper. Interaction time, please go ahead. Any hands up? No hands.
Prof, my hand is up.
Go ahead, please. And unmute.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Mine is I have two questions I want to ask. One is a question, one is a comment.
Okay.
They are talking about water, and then they could not actually mention the sustainable development goal, which number and its involvement in a water solution and resource. The number 2 is, I can't actually pinpoint which particular number they were answering among the questions, because the slide is just, there is no indication that this is solution for number 1, number 2, number 3. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I noted that down too. Go ahead. Any other person? Any other person? Any other comments or questions? So what was the question that you asked? Has it been answered?
Prof, my question was, which SDG?
Yes.
So
water, has it been answered?
Water
Group Platinum. Group Platinum, anybody can answer.
Good afternoon, everybody. Julius back online. Please, sorry, I was kicked out initially. So the SDG, the particular SDG of concern is SDG 6, that is good sanitation, good water, resource and sanitation. That's the one that our project actually addresses. Yes, it's not captured in our work, right? But I was meaning to say them alongside while discussing. Sorry about that before the network kicked me out. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Julius, are you trying to tell us that it's only the water one, SDG 6? That's the only SDG that Water Raid in a project in Nigeria is addressing? Wow.
No, ma, there is life beneath water. That is SDG 14, right? 15.
What about
life
sustainable cities? You are talking of open defecation and all of that. So that's a big flaw in your work. You should have written
and
it.
That one too, and that one too, yes, ma. Sorry, we did not write it down on the slides, but I was meaning to say them alongside the presentation.
Next comment. Any other comments or question, please? No comments, no one question. Okay.
Can I come in?
I'm asking for comments and questions. Of course, we are asking. Go ahead.
Okay.
Anybody?
Thank you.
The floor is open.
Thank you. My name is Wangi Kiwasi Moses. The second presenter of group 2, the two of you did a wonderful job.
There's no group 2. There's no group 2. Please stop.
Platinum,
If you can't call the name of the
group,
then
sorry, I'm very sorry. Platinum group, the two of you did a very wonderful job. I've learned a lot from it. I want to make an input to what you have already said concerning the lessons learned from the water project, and also the strategies. We are talking about sustainability here. So when you cite a project, there has to be a monitoring and evaluation thereafter the project, so that it will ensure the operation of the project, and that the targets make utmost use of the project. So in this case, where there are lessons like sustainability and maintenance. At the borehole, we have to train the community. I believe in the community-based action. You train the community on how to use and maintain the pumps that are used in those manual borehole, or if it is motor pumps, so that at the end of the day, it will ensure that the project continue to exist than collapsing. And in order to do that, maintenance attracts a cost, a fee, which if you wait for outsiders, like as our professor we always say, Professor Namodu, we always say, we don't need to wait for the government. So the community have to take action by taxing themselves with a mild fee to keep the borehole maintenance moving. And then on the strategies, that's for the lessons. For the strategies, we also have to take into cognizance the use of cheap technology, because if you use something expensive there, it becomes very expensive for the community to manage. So we'll make do of boreholes and manual pumps that the community can easily be trained on it, on the maintenance procedures. We also take a look at the capacity building when it comes to the power that, if it is a motorized borehole that is using electrical energy to pump the borehole, so that the community will have water. What type of pump? Is it a fossil fuel internal combustion pump, or is electrical? So, and in this case, I will always suggest that it should be electrical, so that it will have almost zero emission effect.
What about solar powered? What about solar powered pump?
Exactly, that is where I'm driving to, man. So when it comes to renewable energy, that brings us to renewable energy that will power the borehole. It does in the installation of solar power panels that will actually drive this borehole with batteries and inverter thereabout. In Nigeria, we have little wind, so I will not suggest the use of wind, because I don't think it's feasible in the country. And that's the reason why I wanted to get the threshold of the wind speed from the other gold group presentation, so that I will actually ascertain if the turbines were working in a maximum operation limit. So in this case, we have abundant solar irradiation in our geographical location. So we can easily make use of solar panels to power the pump if it is not a manual borehole we are using. Then we also encourage alternative uses, alternative methods like water harvesting. We create we encourage the community to harvest rainwater and store in storages. Or we can even make mini dams, what I call mini dams, so that in the absence of the borehole, the dams will collect water during rains and make it available for them, so that there will be no much pressure on the installed borehole or water plant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe that wraps up the comments from members of the class. And I want to comment, please, before I say anything, what's the name of the platinum member who came to the rescue of the group? What's her name? The second presenter. I need to document the name, please. What's your name?
My name is Vera.
Vera.
Sorry? I didn't get that.
Babe Vera. She said her name is Vera.
Babe
Vera.
Yes, ma.
You
Okay.
can write it.
Write it in the chat for me. Write your name in the chat, please.
It's on
Thank
the
you.
chat.
Write your name in the chat box. Write it in the chat box. Thank you. So honestly, I want to appreciate again Group Platinum for their presentation. I saw group work there. Group work, the team spirit was displayed when Julius was thrown out of the class by internet network. So that was a good way of proving that the work was done by the group, and Vera came to the rescue. So that was nice. Okay. So your font size was not okay. The font size on your slides, like your slide 1 was too texty. There were too much text on it. Okay. Just like it has been mentioned, you didn't number the questions. So at a point, I'm like, what question number is this one now? So like Group Gold had the answers numbered. It's critical when you are answering questions like this. Even if you go and answer question 6 first, put number 6 there, then we'll know that this is question 6. So it makes your presentation orderly. Is that okay? Again, slides were not numbered. Please, all of us, we need to. Of course, I'm not addressing Julius and Vera. I'm addressing the whole class with these comments I'm making. I've already commended them for the presentation, except that Julius was taking too much time talking. The intro, yes, there was intro, but it was too long, and we were getting impatient. In fact, the timekeeper and the class governor had to remind him that he had only 4 minutes to go, and he was still, on that. Yes, I said put life into it, but don't put too much life and leave the main work, because nobody gets extra marks for not finishing an exam. You get the point. And exams are weighted. If you see question 1 that is to take only 2 points, and question 6 has 15 marks, and you spend all your time on question 1, the one that has the highest mark you can get in that question 1 is 2 marks. Question 6 that has 15 marks, you have not touched it. So please, time management, that's the important thing. Time management is poor for Group Platinum. So learn time management, please, in your presentations. It will help you a lot. Intro should be what you should be, just preamble. Is that okay? And because you were on one slide for like 3 to 4 minutes, and that was not okay. All right? You could have broken down that slide into 2 or 3 slides, so it won't be too congested the way it was. Is that okay? So then the SDG, I noted that you didn't mention the SDG. And who funds WaterAid? Because the Kenya Lake Turkana people told us who funds that lake, who funded it. Who funds WaterAid? You didn't tell us, please. Who funds it? Because there are members of this class that will not know what WaterAid is all about. I'm not lying.
Oh, Prof, can I answer that?
Anybody can answer from Group Platinum, because we want the group to be totally enlightened. Everybody to be enlightened about what we are talking here. Okay?
So the United Nations Developmental Project, UNDP, in partnership with the various nations like Nigeria, help to sponsor water projects.
Are you done?
Yes, Prof. Thank you, ma.
Okay, that's it. When you are making a presentation or answering, just when you say thank you, we know you are done. Because I was thinking network had started, misbehaving. Is that okay? So we need to say some of these things so that everybody, will be on the same page. Is that okay? Hi, Lazira Gwari. Hi, Lazira. Who is Hi, Lazira in this class? So I believe we see that. So the same question, did you see the ESIA of this project, the Nigerian Water Rate Project? Group Platinum. Hello?
No, ma, we didn't.
Answer question, Platinum people.
No, ma, we didn't.
You didn't. You have to go and look for it. Okay? Go and look for the ESIA because
okay, ma.
Attach it to
we'll do that.
All right. And then, yeah, and it would have been also nice to show, presentation, make it exciting. If you had shown a photo of some children at a water raid borehole pump, pressing that thing up and down, to bring life to it. So presentation is not only text to, hello, young people in the class. Do you get the point? Eh?
Yes, ma.
Yes,
ma.
Make your presentation come alive in many ways. Presentation is not just texts. It's called audiovisual. We like to see one or two photos. I don't think I saw any photos in your own, okay? As well. So these are some of the things that I just wanted you to note. Is that okay? So clap for yourselves, everybody. I think we are done.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Questions for me?
Jessica had her hands up.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Jessica. Jessica,
hello,
go ahead. You have the floor. Good
afternoon, ma. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, ma, for these lectures. We enjoyed it. It has been really enlightening. And I just wanted to throw more light on this funding of water aid that you mentioned. Though I'm not in group two, platinum group, but I wanted to share about water aid. Their projects are being funded by different donors. Even an organization can decide to fund any of their projects. All you need to do is to donate money and say, this is the course you want to do. This is the course you want them to do. Like if you want to build solarize boreholes in PHCs, you can say, okay, I have $200,000. I want to fund this and I want to make sure that this money is utilized in funding these boreholes in these PHCs. So they will do all they need to do and make sure they deliver the results. So it's not only United Nations and government. Sometimes government does not even fund anything. They just partner to make sure that the thing is done according to the national guidelines. That's what I wanted to.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That's why I asked that question. You see, we need to be brought to the same page. Thank you very much for that addition. It helps. It helps the class. If you believe that Jessica's addition helps, please throw flowers for her, clap for her, and let's have some reaction in the class. I'm basically a chemist. I like reactions. We like noise, pops, color. Yes, thank you. So all these flowers going up are for group gold, and all the flowers going up are for group platinum. Honestly speaking, I've enjoyed this class, and thank you so much for being there. At this point, we want to call it a day. Recall that you are submitting your individual assignments in 2 weeks' time, and I wish you the very best, okay, in your studies, and see you. I don't like goodbyes. I miss you all already. Thank you and God bless you. Put on your videos. Let's take photos. That's our tradition. Put on your videos.
You need to rechristen. You need to rechristen the gold group before we close this thing, because it is their request. Oh,
Adamutena Gideon, your hand is up. Okay, put on your videos now. Take the photos, cost repo. This is kill and go. Today is the last day of class.
Yes, ma. You called my name and I actually have something to say.
Say it now.
Hello? Hello?
Your
Hello,
hand is up.
okay,
That's
ma.
why I called your name.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I came in to join the class sometime late and I've not actually been following on the presentations like you. I don't know how I can be part of the group.
If you are honest, you will say your problem out. You say somehow late. We can't help you if we don't know your problem. Oh. We don't know when you joined.
Yes, I came in late.
That's you joined today's class late. Is that what you're saying?
No, not just this class. The entire program. I came in along the line, not at the beginning. So I was thinking maybe this arrangement was done behind my back before I came in.
So I would advise that you meet the class governor. We have a class governor, Angu Ongu. Please meet him, and then class governor. That means you can't even write my exam at the Mutena. You have been missing lectures. Shikena. So please meet the class governor. Let him help you. Meet the class governor, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Class governor, I hope you heard that Ademu Tena Gideon needs your help. Eh?
I have heard people that are wearing me out, man.
So Ademu Tena Gideon, you are the one to locate the class governor. You are the one with the problem. So try and locate him, please, okay? And he will help you. That's his job. Oh, my video is not on. Class governor, you must put me on.
Yeah, I will soon get to you, man.
Okay.
Dr. Ben.
On your videos, too.
Class governor must appear in the video too.
Just give me
What is this now?
on your videos, so I better go.
My God, what am I doing?
We need prayer and your network is misbehaving.
On your videos,
We should trust in ourselves. This market, they cheap for me. Mommy light. Just leave on my bike.
I am taking the picture.
For where you don't drive.
Prof, I'm on you now. You can smile, Prof.
Yes, sir. How comes the children are inside the picture?
Stop buying this thing.
Yeah.
Let me smile. I don't want to be squeezing in the picture. Like cheap. You guys are serious, like see you. They want lift you sit down, they're serious. So mommy light, which one they buy for me now? Tomato 500.
You say we're talking of English speaking, you are speaking pidgin. You cannot be speaking pidgin in environmental sustainability class.
Give on your camera. Give
Can't
on
be
your
speaking
camera. We
pidgin.
cannot
It
see
doesn't
you.
work here. We don't speak pidgin.
Anytime I read this last people, Remy Kachala. Remy Kachala on your camera.
200.
Remy.
Shembe de soft oil.
Vera on your camera. This last people.
Remember.
Do Vivian. Push on your camera. I cannot see you before.
So that's why I'm surprised. You go remember. So my own, I wait. Don't buy shop.
Vera Gabriel.
200. Normal pepper 200. So
Hey,
1,000.
Nakoma, you are in a dark place.
You go remember.
Hey, God.
Devil fish, man. 300 to 100 naira. No matter what, market is better.
Where is Branchy?
Okay, I think I've taken quite a number of shots.
Cost rep, are we good to go?
Just wait more. I take so much so that nobody will say it's not in the this thing. You know, I'm using a phone. If it were a laptop, it would have been a lot easier. I can capture more
And it's
numbers.
like some have logged out already because we are just online. 17 now.
Kachala, your this thing is on now.
My break water.
Last rep, this is like writing exam.
Christmas are fading off.
Last rep is like writing exam. This one.
Mr. Morris, you are not on.
It seems some people have started their TGIF. Somebody don't get back.
First rep, are we done?
Adole, you are there. I can see you.
Have you snapped me?
I will do. Now that your this thing is coming up, you are making a call. Let that call bring money. Mr. Dr. Efuro Bank. You are there.
See me this side.
Some of us are tired though.
Class governor, can we log out?
You can log out. Me, I'm just repeating the picture so that everybody will be captured properly.
Okay, thank you so much.
You can log out. You can. But
thank you so much.
The pictures. Shella Doki, you are there. I can see you.
Last governor, I dare snap you.
Am I there?
Class governor, thank you so much for your.
Almost everybody.
Class governor, snap me.
One place now.
I did class, snap me.
Class when you there outside like this. Jesus, Prof said we should not speak DJ.
Are you sure you are in class? Are you sure you are in class?
Mr. Wange Tewase, our elder. Our elder. Our capable elder.
Are we done?
Bye, everyone. See you on Monday.
All right, thank you very much.
Have a great weekend and happy Valentine's celebration.
I think they should give us midterm break now. I'll be time never again. This is week 4.
Who will be my vow, please?
My vow. Will you come to Lagos?
My vow.
Who will be my vow?
Who is asking the question?
Looking for vow.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Download.
Thank you. I'm looking